Welcome to the Masters Grand Prix interview room. And today's guest is a multiple world and European champion. Not only is he that, but he's also part of a relay squad that has broken world records and is one of the finest M40 sprinters of all time. So let's go over to TJ Ossai. So TJ, how are you today?
I'm awesome, man. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I feel special right now. I feel like I've landed. I finally got the call for the interview. So yeah, let's get it. I'm ready.
Loving it. Right, so if I've done my research correctly, did you start athletics in 2005?
30, wasn't I? 2005.
Yeah, about 15 years ago now.
Yeah. So I started properly around when I was 30. I did a little bit at 26. But I started properly around 30, 31. So yeah, so not that long.
So what did you come from another sport into athletics, or how did you actually get into athletics?
Tell you the truth, I was always fit and sporty as a youngster. I was always fast at school, probably usually the top 5, never really the fastest. But I was always active, I always stayed fit. And I never really pursued athletics, really. You know, I wanted to when I was young, but in those days, there was no internet. So I couldn't search for the nearest club to me. I remember when I was about 13, my dad was a hurdler back in the day, you know, years ago. Really, really good athlete. He had a record in Nigeria that stood for 16 years. We after that one. You know, I mean, I don't remember the times and all that, but it's in the genes. But as a youngster, my dad was working from. He was a university lecturer in Nigeria, so he'd come back over here where we were, where the rest of the family was, about 4 or 5 times a year. So he wasn't really there that much earlier on, from about age 12 till I was about 18. So he said, "Go join a club. You know, go join. You know, you're very fast. Blah blah blah." But I didn't know where to find the club. So those days, I used to train in the backyard. I used to, you know. I was inspired by Linford Christie. I used to watch him competing, and I thought, man, because he was tall and I was tall, I just wanted to be like him, you know. So I'd go to the backyard or a field nearby, and I'd say, "On your marks," by myself, and I had set no distance. I didn't know how far I was running. Run until I got tired, then I would stop. No sense of recovery. And I'll run again, right? So after about 3 runs, I'm fagged out because the recovery is too short. You know what I mean? And I'll leave. You know, one of my good friends, Matthew Thomas, who's a really good coach now. He coaches Crystal Award, one of the top British female sprinters. We used to just lift weights, you know. So I would be in the gym 4 times a week, just pumping weights, getting hench. You know, that's what it was about. No running, but he was running with Newham and Essex Beagles in London, you know. So, but I didn't know. I never really knew that he was doing athletics until one day after the gym, where I went to his house and you know, then he mentioned it, and I said, "Mate, I could beat you," because I knew I was fast, right? So we went outside on the road and we raced, right? And I beat him the first time by the skin of my teeth, right? We did it about 3 times, and he beat me. Then we tied, and he was like, "What? You don't train, you don't." Then he said, "Listen, you need to come down to where I train." So we went down to it was in Surrey Keys where I first met Lloyd Cowan. That's where he was coaching, and a few other guys. So we did a bit of training there, but then we went down to where he really trained, where his coach was, a guy called Jimmy Hogan, down in Battersea Park. So Jimmy Hogan and Lloyd used to train together under, I forget the coach's name. But anyway, I started training then, you know, but I was hench. I was you know, almost 16 stone, really big. So
wow. You're more like a bodybuilder then.
Yeah, I used to go to the gym and just do 10 reps of big weights, you know. So I was 16 stone. I'm now 13.5 stone. My heaviest was 16.2.
Wow.
Just imagine me.
Yeah. You'd been some unit on the track.
I was a unit. I progressed, you know. I left Jimmy after a couple of years because I remember I ran like 12 flat my first race, you know, and I was like, no, girls run those times, you know. And I just thought, I know I'm faster than this. How can a girl be faster than me? Do you know what I mean? So, you know, after doing all that training, I'm like, why 12 seconds? So, like, he got me down to something like 11:2, you know, and then I moved on to, I did a month with Clarence Caledon down in Ladywell, you know, but he was traveling a lot with the GB guys, so he wasn't really there enough. So I left. Then who did I go to? I went down to Walthamstow, Pool and Track in East London. I trained with a guy called John Skeet. I was there for I think a year or two. You know, that eventually I settled down with Michael Afalaka. That was 2005. That's when I really, or four. I can't remember what year that was. But anyway, that's when I, you know, I joined him as a 400-meter runner because that's the only way I could get into the squad. He had people like Ricky 15, John Baptiste.
Yeah.
Who else was there? John Barber. You know, he had.
Yeah, you're talking about more my era now, TJ.
Exactly.
As obviously I was around then. We
Right.
actually went head to head a few times. You probably don't remember. I remember. I've raced you a few times.
Me?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You don't remember, but we used to run in the British League together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's I've seen some of the results from the British League. You won't remember, but I do.
Wow.
It just shows you it's a small world out there. But yeah, I used to compete for Liverpool Harriers.
But you were rolling out those days. You were moving.
Yeah, Liverpool Harriers. Then I went to Sheffield.
Yeah.
Trafford. I've been to Trafford as well. So yeah, I've raced here a few times. I know all them names because I've been down into London side.
To come in as a 400-meter runner.
Oh.
To get into the squad because he now set up a new 400-meter group, and even though that really wasn't what I wanted to do, but I wanted to get into that squad. I wanted to train with him, so I said, right, I'll do 400 then. All right, go on then. Around 49.69, and I thought, nah, with this kind of training that I've been doing, saying prayers every day before I train, to only run 49 seconds. Nah, sorry, it's not for me.
Where did you get the Masters scene from?
So 2013, I was 38, so I was already 3 years well into Masters eligibility. But early years, I didn't know much about it. You know, I remember one day I was in Lee Valley, and Barrington King, he said, you know, you're second in the country in Masters, right? Masters, what's that? I said, you mean? He goes, you know, because I just thought it was just a bunch of 80-year-olds running around. I mean, no disrespect, but I just thought, well, who will I compete against? You know what I mean? I said, second. I was like, okay, all right, cool. Well, I didn't know there was a scene, right?
Yeah.
I didn't think much of it. I probably was 37 at the time, right, or 36. So I was running like 22.1s, 22.2, something like that. Then it was I believe when I was 38, yeah, I was just going through Stratford. At the time I was living in Stratford, and I saw Mensa Elliott. We just met, and I hadn't seen him for years. We met, first met when I did the 1 month stint at Ladywell with Clarence Caledon, and he was training there, and he was a good hurdler back in the day, you know, so I had a lot of respect for him. So I saw him, and he goes, you know about the Masters, right? I said, no, not really. Then he gave me some information, and he goes, you should give it a go. I think he was doing it already at the time, you know, and he was telling me about championships, and he kind of sold it to me. I thought, you know what, I could do some championships, world championships, really? That's when I signed up. Mensa was the real one who sold me the dream, you know, and I never looked back.
Well done, Mensa, because to be honest with you, it was the start of you, really, wasn't it? To be fair, it really made you come on. I mean, I know your first World Championships was in Brazil, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So obviously, and I know that you got a silver medal in the 100 meters, and then the 200. I'm not sure what happened in the 200, but it's got like a do not finish or you didn't start. So that was your first taste of it. So what was that like?
It was incredible. Going into those, imagine joining the Masters, and that same year you're going to the World Championships.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, as Jason had been doing it a couple of years, so Jason Carty. So I spoke to him, and he was like, mate, it's not the same, right? It's not your Lee Valley Opens, blah, blah, blah. When you get to the championships, and you see the crowds, and you see, you know, you go through the rounds. You know, I hadn't done rounds before in my life. You got to go through the rounds, you go to a call room, and you're against people from all around the world. You have the Americans, you have everybody's there, right? He goes, you have to be ready mentally for it. So I was excited because that year, you know, I think I'd run 11:0 something, you know, and I kind of felt I could run faster. I felt I could go faster. And my 200 was my favorite event, you know, so I thought, you know what, I could go deeper. Got there. And when you forget, it's the whole thing, it's the whole traveling, it's the whole going to the hotel, and it's the wrong hotel, and it's all of that, not things going on. Those are the things you've got to deal with, and then you've got to compete, right? So we had a few issues with the hotel when we got there. But I was sharing with Mike Vasilou and Jason, we were all in the same hotel. It was awesome. I went down, got down there, and the nerves hit me, right? I was told, I can't remember who told me, somebody said, look, if you make it to the final, you've done great, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, you know what, make it to the final and try and, you know, medal, right? So I got down there, and the vibe, the Americans they were looking mean, and the bravado was there, right? And I was like, okay, don't worry, it's all good, just stay calm. Jason told you just got to stay calm, right? Stay relaxed. So I was trying to take it in. So, you know, first round, I did my thing. I felt nice. I won my heat. Then, you know, you start figuring out who's doing what, right? You're looking at the times and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? Let's see. There was this Japanese guy who's been followed around with a camera. We had a photo crew. So I was like, damn, he must be fast, right? He must be some kind of Masters general. So it was fun. I enjoyed it, you know. Got to the final. I think I ran 10:90 something in the final. I can't remember what it was, 10:90 something. Thinking, right, that's it, I've put it down. Nobody's run sub 11. Then out of nowhere, boom, some American just runs 10:70. I was like, what? 10:7? Jason told me if I run 10:9, I've more or less got the gold. What's going on? So I was like, right, okay. Now he's set the bar, right? So I thought, okay, cool. I know what's what. In the call room, sorry, in the warm-up area, there was a guy called Tunde Ridley.
Yeah.
With dreads, really good American guy. And he was having fun, you know, doing all the mind games and stuff, which is interesting, you know. But you know, we got to the call room, and he was sat next to me, and then he said, so I was really charged, like 5 minutes before the race. I was like, come on, TJ, you can do it. Forget about his 10:7. You can do it, right? So he was sat next to me, and in the call room, he said, you ready? I was like, what? Are you ready? And that was the wrong thing to do. He got me in his hands, right?
Yeah.
I stood up, I was like, come on, let's go. He got me all charged up. And obviously the gun went, and he was off like a bullet. I got the silver, so I was pretty pleased. You know, obviously you always want to win, but I was very excited to get gold. But I was thinking, right, 200, no one's touching me in that one, because I was feeling pretty confident in that one. And you said, you alluded to what happened. You said you did not finish, right?
Yeah. So
I ran 22.6 in the heats, really on a Mondo track. It was on a different track. So, you know, I felt really good. I had the fastest qualifying in heats in the semi around 22.13, easing down, like really easing down. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to go 21. Right? So I had the fastest qualifying to the final. And then the two Americans, like you had, what's his name? Anton Doucet.
Yeah.
22.4. Ridley Anton Doucet, the American, they were both jogging. So it felt like these guys are saving some for the final. So in the final, anyone who went to Brazil would remember the warm-up area was a really short track. It was like 40 meters, right? And it was in a straight line, and people would have to walk across it to go to the call room.
Yeah.
Doing my warm-up acceleration runs, and I was doing my last one literally 5 minutes before the race, right? And I went down, I did a sprint, and somebody walked across. And I literally had to stop in full because I was in my dry phase. I looked up and he was there, and I had to stop. And my back spasmed, and I was like, oh my God. 5 minutes before the race, I had Michael Vasilou came over. He tried to, loosen me up and take me up and all that. Got out to the track. Literally, it was 5 minutes before the race. Ran the race, got to about 70 meters, back to spasmed again, and that was it. So yeah, I was really disappointed for that one because I felt I could do it. But yeah, that's the story of my first champs. After that, I don't think I lost for about 3 years after that.
Oh, you know, I've got the stats.
Yeah. So that was the start of my masters.
Yeah, I mean, do you know the great thing about that? It just shows to everyone that we all start somewhere, and that first championships is a massive learning experience.
Yeah.
How to deal with pressure. And I always say to we get to a final, like if Jason said that to you, I always say that's the start, because once you get to finals, you learn how to deal with pressure. And like you, someone wound you up, you fell for it. But that's a brilliant experience, because the next championships, you know what's going to happen. You know people are going to try and get into your head. It's all great. It's all in good fun, but that's a part of athletics. And the 200, that was just unfortunate one. Something that happened, but it does happen. Things do happen. So anyway, we moved from Brazil, and then obviously you get to the indoors in Budapest. You got to the 60-meter final. Unfortunately for you, you missed out on the medal this time round. Then the 200 again didn't finish.
Yeah, imagine. Bro, imagine that.
Yes. So what happened there?
Mate. So did the heats of the 60, felt good, did the semi-final, ran 6:99, right? Then in the final, what happened was I didn't medal. So I'd run hard all 3 rounds, right? And no therapy, nothing, right? And the 200 was the next day. My body was stiff as hell. So, excuse me, in the first round, I ran something like 23 something comfortably. I won my heat, but I shut down too much, so my time was slow. I think I remember you being there. I think you ran a record there, 22.5, I think.
No. At Budapest, I'd just come back out of retirement,
right.
and I did win the world indoors.
You won it, okay? You won it
in Budapest, yeah, because the world outdoor champion was there, so it was nice to beat him because he was from Brazil. So yes.
Yeah. So I won my heat, but I ran it too slowly. Right? I didn't know the rules. I didn't know that, mate, you need to fight for your lanes and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So around 23 something, easing down, and then in the semi-final, I got lane 2. So, damn, lane 2, I've got to run my heart out for this one, right? So I belted it, and I pulled my hamstring after about 60 meters. Yeah, I was on crutches, mate. After
but again, you learned, didn't you? Again, there's for an outdoor learning, indoor learning.
Exactly.
And that's what it's all about. We all keep learning. But as we all know, from then on, you took them experiences away. And then for me, 2015, I mean, come on, it's one of the best seasons coming back from that. And then to come out and your first, the indoors in Poland and to run. And then you were not the favourite. You were not the favourite to win the 60. It was Mark Finley again to win gold.
Exactly.
And you come out and boom, a 6.97 to win gold. But not only that, sure, was it an all-time personal best?
Yeah, it was.
And I think were you 39 then?
39, yeah, top of the age group.
So, and you must have felt on cloud 9 to run 6.97 at 39 years old, beating Mark Finley as well to boot.
That was absolutely amazing, because Mark he did not come to get silver at all.
No.
But I was so focused, and the pressure wasn't on me because no one expected me to win, right? But I knew I'd been training well. I felt good, and I thought, you know what? You've got nothing to lose. Go for it. I had a start, that half a stride ahead of him, and I managed to keep that. I was really, really happy because it was my first ever title. Imagine that, at the top of the age group. So that was a special one for me.
Yeah, to me, because I remember watching it there, and I was like, wow, can't believe Matt Finley's just been beat. And as I say, you weren't the favourite, top end of your age. It was a fabulous performance. 200 metres, silver medal in the final this time. How was that?
To be honest, I was disappointed. I was disappointed with that because I felt I could have won it. He won it in 21.9. I had
was he from Romania?
Romanian, yeah, Romanian.
Yeah.
His name is
Not Nissu.
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's
I'll tell you what, I know more than you here. That should be on the question of sport.
I know. Tell me about it. But he's a colourful character as well, because he was. I remember in the 60 meters. You can ask Mark this, right? So he was like, he came to. I was warming up. I had my headphones on. He was like, "Hey, TJ, it's my girlfriend's birthday today. Let's go do a video say happy birthday to her." I was like, "Mate, I'm warming up for the final, mate. Talk to me afterwards." Do you know what I mean? So he was just in the mind games. He wanted to do a group picture, and I thought, nah, forget it. So after the heats, after the 60 meters, I think he was fourth there. So he Sylvan Nisu, that's it.
Ah, that's the one.
Silvio Silva. So he messaged Mark Finley, because Mark wasn't in the 200, right? So he messaged Mark Finley, and anyway, he said to Mark, "Your friend TJ, is he ready to go 21? Because I'm ready to go 21." I was like, okay, oh goodness, this guy sending some bullets out here, mate. So I was like, okay. Oh, I had tape on my adductor. I was a little bit problematic. So anyway, no excuses. He won it fair and square. He was in lane 5. I was in lane 6. He came through the line, and when he won it, he went down and won it. And he went like that. I was like, well done, mate. I got the silver. Still a medal. Can't complain. I think around 22-3 or 2, 22-3 or 2. But 2 medals. I was relatively pleased. But again,
so I think that the ultimate one was the 60 meters, wasn't it? Because that wasn't it. Maybe it was like you thought maybe I'll medal in the 60 and I'll probably win the 2.
Exactly.
And it ended up being vice versa. These things happen. And then Leon, great performance in Leon. The weather was fantastic out there. Your 100 meters, you took gold again. And for me, running 10.98 into a minus 2.8, I was like, wow, he's in bloody good shape here. Yeah. And I remember the 200, I was fighting to death watching the 200 meters. I remember the final. I was stood there watching it and thinking, bloody hell, my record's under the he's going to have a problem here, because he's running really, really well.
Yeah.
It was great. You won it from gun to tape, to be honest with you, watching the video. And to be fair to you, I'm gonna show the video for that 200 meters.
Where's me goggles?
You'll see the 200 meters. Look, you put your glasses on for it.
That's right. I love that race.
I love that. Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna pause and we'll show the video. So. Right, we've just watched the 200 meters there, TJ. Gun to tape, won it no problem. Great drive phase, great race. How did you think it went?
Mate, that's one of my favourite races of all time. I'd won the 100 meters. I'd run 10.98 into minus 2.8, as you said. So to me, I felt like that's a 10.6 easy. I'm in shape. I'm ready.
Yeah.
It was 48 degrees, blazing hot. So to be fair, I was very nervous for that 200. Very, very nervous. I ran the heats. There's only 3 of us in the race, and the 2 people I was racing against wanted to take a picture with me. So I was like, damn, okay, I'm not gonna run too fast here. So I ran 22.9 in the heats, 22.19 in the semi-final, easing down. So I thought, ooh, could do something here. But there was a Japanese guy who was running very well, and he was doing a lot of the showboating as well. So I thought he might give me a good run for his money. He eased down in the heats, in the semis, running 22.4. So I thought, I don't know how much he's got left, but I knew I could go sub 22. I didn't know how far down. And you said to me, good luck, mate, but don't run too fast, because tomorrow. So I thought, okay. But I wasn't going for the record. I just wanted to win. I was so nervous. But I went out there and I thought I ran so well. I came off the turn, and to be honest with you, looking at the video, there was a gap, but I felt him. I thought he was right there. So I was super scared, and I just held my form. I ran through. Mate, I rejoiced for winning, but I rejoiced for seeing 21 seconds. I had not run 21 seconds outdoors in my entire life, and I was 40.
Yes, and this is my point, that again, you know, 39, you ended up running a PB indoors over 60, then 200 outdoors. Yeah, brilliant. I mean, the 100 was fantastic. I said I'd been to such a headwind, but the 200, you looked so strong. Last 50 as well. You fought, you held your form, you were strong at the end. It was interesting that Mike Coogan there was in lane 1.
Was he?
Yeah, there you go. You see, when you look at that video, you had a super run, 21.75, a new personal best at the age of 40. You must have thought, wow, what is going on? What is, for me, what has changed? How could you run so quick and run 21.75 that you didn't do in your younger days? What's been different?
It's a good question. I mean, like I said, I started pretty late, so my experience wasn't there. There are many factors that could contribute to somebody running fast. Is your training, capacity, it's your psychology, nutrition, many factors, right? So I felt like all of those factors had married nicely for me, and I was in that place where I understood my body. I knew what I was doing training wise. I knew how to cope with pressure. I'd learned. I was more experienced now from the previous 3 championships I'd been to: 2013 outdoor, indoor, 2015 indoor, right? So I now had a bit of experience to me in training. I was focused. I'd learned from, I had a strong goal. I was training for a championship. And I understood my body. I listened to my body, and I didn't flog myself unnecessarily. So I just tweaked a few things in training and still worked with good quality. And it paid off. And having won the indoors, and people underestimate the power of the mind, and confidence. Having won 60 meters, to me, is my weakest event. So for me to get gold in the 60 meters, I was, it did a lot for my confidence. So I went into the next season training, to the next outdoor training season, and I was rolling times I'd never seen before. 150s were super quick. My 250s were super quick. And then, so I knew going into the championships that I was ready to run,
Yeah. So do you think, in hindsight now, that 60 meters beat Mark Finley that day set you up?
Big time. Big time. If you ever see the video of that race, you go on YouTube and type it in. My celebration said it all. Not only did I win 3 things, I won a gold, right? I ran a PB, and I beat Mark Finley.
Yeah, well, that I think that's what set.
But to be fair, Mark was a good friend of mine anyway, so
it was all good. It was all good fun.
Yeah.
It's brilliant that's what made you go to that next level. Because I always say it's about belief, and you've gone away with massive belief. Obviously, you've taken it to training, because you just said to yourself you didn't slog. So did you look at doing more quality than quantity then?
Yeah, it was a lot more quality work. And it's just periodizing properly and putting the workload in the right places, and training with purpose. Training with purpose. Every time I stepped on the track, I knew why I was doing it. I had a very clear purpose. My younger years, I wanted to do Olympics. I wanted to do world champion. But it seemed a little bit unrealistic. Not unrealistic, but I didn't believe it enough, because I was running to be in the Olympics. You got to run 10:1. I wasn't even running sub 11. So you might say you want to do that, but you don't believe it in your bloodstream. So it was something a bit more tangible. So I felt, right, I could do this, and it gave me that impetus in training, to put the work in. But like you said, definitely I had to train a lot smarter.
Yeah, and that's the massive thing. So when you were training smarter, did that implement obviously your track? Was that the same in the gym side of things then, in the weights room or plyometrics? Was it the overall package?
Yeah, it was the overall package. You have to put your weights program in the right place, and you have to understand your body. There's certain things that my body didn't like, You know, like back squats, I didn't like it because I kept getting spasms like literally every 2 months. So I pulled some things out, introduced some things. I did a lot more dynamic stuff. I kept my strength up. I do a lot of strength work and the plyos. You know, so I introduced a lot of PAP work, post activation potentiation in my work, in my training. So where you do big lift and then jumps afterwards and stuff like that, because I'm a very tall guy, and you know, I don't have as much frequency as a shorter guy, so I need to do a lot more speed. Too much endurance, too much slow stuff doesn't work for me. So I learned that, and I adapted my training over the years, and it seemed to work for me in those years there.
Well, that's a good point there. It just shows you that we all keep learning about our training, and that's what works for you, because it doesn't necessarily work for you, it works for someone else, does it? We're all individuals, and we're all trying to get the best out of our bodies, and you started to find that. But the biggest factor for me was confidence has made you shoot up. I always say there's belief, but there's ultimate belief, and I think that's where you took it. You had ultimate belief, and that was fantastic. And then from there, we went on to Perth, another World Championships. But I'm going to show the video clip first, because it's the 100-meter final, and we'll watch that first, and then we'll come back.
This time they're away. And the speedsters are out there. Man moving really quickly is from France. He's looking good. The Aussies trying to come through. They're pushing very hard. The man from France is going to do it. The Aussie can't catch him. The man across, I'll tell you, Great Britain, silly me. It's
another gold medal. Fantastic time there, 10.58. Yes, it was a bit windy, but I don't care about the wind for me, because it was a great performance. You looked like you dominated the race. The Australians, give you a bit of a race, but you didn't really give you a race, in my opinion. Gunter Tate won it. How did you feel about that one,
mate? That one, and I tell you what, 100 meters. That's my best race ever in terms of how I felt after winning that. Right, 200 was the Lyon one. This race, it meant a lot to me. Right, went all the way to Perth. Got there, I think it was a week in advance. Got there, had a spasm, right? My back, I was on the plane for 6 hours. I went to pick up a suitcase and I had a spasm. I was like, oh my goodness, how can this happen? This is less than a week before the race. Luckily, again, Mike Vassiliou saved the day. I was sharing with him, we were in a house together. So he had all the needles out. You imagine 2-3 days before the race, needle. So made it to the start line in one piece. Felt nice. Went down to the track a couple of days before. Wow, nice Blue Mundo track. Felt beautiful. So in the first round, I get seated with a silver medalist from Lyon. I'm like, in the first round, what? I had to move in the first round. So I ran 10.81, easing down. I was like, whoa! It was a plus 2 point something, right, over the limit. But I was like, mate, is this real? Am I really moving this quick? So come the semi. So then I heard another guy's run 10.81. I'm like, who? Somebody else? Who's that? I've never heard of this person. And he was I forget his name, Australian guy. Ashley is his name. He ran 10.81 in the heats as well. I was like, what? I was like, okay, cool. I got to run this year. So in the semi-final now, I went 10.85 plus 1.1. So I was like, okay, legal, brilliant. And then he ran 10.8 as well. In the semi-final, I was like, blimey heck, this guy, and obviously you're watching from behind, so you can't tell whether it's easing off or not. Yeah. So I was feeling a little bit like, mate, I don't know. He may be in 10.5 shape, 10.4. I don't know. So I just thought, you know what, forget that. Just focus on yourself. Go for gold. Came into the call room, and he's a lovely chap, but he was doing all the mind games, right?
Oh, which you've been through already.
I've been through already, experience. So I generally don't like to go too early into the call room if I can, right? I'll stretch it as much as I can, because I just like to be in my own headspace. So I came in there. You meant to be in there 30 minutes early. I got in there about 10 minutes late. As I walked in, he was like, "TJ, you're late." I was like, "Huh?" How do you know my name is even TJ? On the sheet it says Tamano Nengi Ofori. So who's this person that knows me so well? That, you know, there was no Brits there. So I looked, there's an Aussie guy. I was like, okay, there was about 3 Aussies. So I didn't know which was the guy who was running quick. So I just ignored him. I just went to the back, right? My hands were shaking like this, right? So he was talking really loud. He looked really confident. So, you know, it was fun, you know. So that was just boosting my own adrenaline to perform. So I went out there and I thought, mate, you've just got to nail it from the start. Nail it from the start. Did that. And the rest is history. You know, I ran 10.58. Even though it was windy, you know, it's great to look at the clock and see that kind of time.
Yeah.
And he ran 10.69 and third was 10.75. So it was quite a tasty final. That was brilliant for me. That was a great start to the championships.
Oh, definitely. You know, it was another fantastic performance. And as I say, the confidence, the experience all comes out. 200 meters, again, another gold medal.
Yeah. So
they're mounting up now. And then relay, 4x1, gold.
Yeah. Yes.
And then I believe 4x4.
Yeah.
Wow. So you
and I run a 49.2 split. Imagine that. Wow.
And then you move on to 2016 Ancona.
Yeah.
That was the Europeans, I believe.
That's right.
Did you do a 16 or 2 there then?
Yes, I did. That was fun for me as well. I just go to all championships, and so long as I'm in one piece, I'll go to a championship. I remember running, I think I ran 7:04 to win gold there, and 20 something to win the 200.
22:37.
37, okay, 22:37. You got the stats, mate. 22.
Yeah, it's only because I'm going to show a video clip of that. Yes.
Nice. Let's see.
Let's go. Let's go, TJ.
TJ Ossai excellent final for TJ Ossai, representing Great Britain in Ireland. 22 seconds and 37 for the new European champion.
Another fantastic performance. Out in the outside lane there, so you're out in lane 6. Now, obviously, we've seen you run from lane 4 outdoors and then lane 6 indoors. So we're guessing because you're tall, the outside lanes are a massive plus for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to you, indoors completely is not designed for a tall guy like me. So, you know that yourself. 60 meters, yeah, I like to do it to break up the monotony of training. 200 meters, the bends are even lane 6, you know, it's just about all right. But the disadvantage of that is people in your inside will use you as a target, and they can go past you. But yeah, I mean, you're in lane 6, you can't see anyone. You just tell yourself, right now I can't see anyone. The next person I want to see is the official on the finish line, no one else. So stay in front the whole way. That was the plan. You know, it's interesting. It's fun because you don't know what's going to happen. Sometimes you don't even know how tight the bends are until you run it in the heat. So, you know, it's all a new experience, and you get to the last bend and it's tight. You have to readjust. But I enjoy 200s. That's my favorite event, to be honest. That's what I see.
You're like me, aren't you? In that respect, I prefer the 200 meters. I don't. So you're training for the outdoors and the indoors. Is it similar or is it totally different?
It's not totally different. I always have a speed element in my program, always, all year round, and I always have a speed endurance element in my program all year round as well. But when we outdoors, you know, there's more of a speed endurance. There's still speed, but you know, there's a bit more speed endurance right from straight after the indoors, going to the outdoors. So you're a sprinter. You got to sprint all year round, and that's my belief, and for me. That's what works for me. And that's it. You know, that's how I approach it.
Yeah, well, I'm on the same hymn sheet as your good self there. That I always keep up the speed work because that's what we lose first is speed. So we've got to keep on top of it. So that's great advice coming from yourself to keep up your speed. Have you got any sessions that you dislike the most, but you do them?
Dislike? Your 90% speed endurance runs, not flat out, because if it's flat out, you've only got to do a couple of them.
Yeah.
When you've got to do 3 or 4 runs, anything over 150 at a good pace. When you get to the 3rd run, you already got lactic after the 2nd one, and you've got 2 more. Those are the ones that I like the least.
Yeah, but we do them. We do them because we know we get results from them. Not that you like them, you're thinking, the bigger picture is, if I put these sessions in, I'm working hard. That person who stood next to me on that track in a race, you've got to go, well, I'm working as hard as you.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to go into that championship knowing the best condition you can be in. There's nothing unturned. You know everything. And usually you know about your competitors anyway, whether they've got any weaknesses or advantages. So a lot of it's mental strength, isn't it?
Big time. You can't overstate that enough. This is your head office, right? It doesn't matter what condition your body is. If this is not an equal amount of level of condition as your body, you'll perform subpar. So I believe that, you go into winter training, right? I've got to do this session, I've got to do that session. But you forget about this. You got to have a system, you got to have a strategy to keep that training as well, right? And that's how I see it. I see it as equally important. It's easily forgotten. I see that as a massive. My best performances have come when psychologically I'm in the best state of mind. Yeah, and
yeah, well, that's true, and I'm exactly the same as you. If I've got it in the head and my training's gone well, then I feel invincible when I turn up to a track. If I get beat, I just get beat by a better athlete. You can't do that. You just hold your hands up and say, listen, they're just better than me on the day. It's out of your control. And the only thing I say is you can only control yourself. That's it. You can't control anything. Can't control the weather. You can't control any conditions or anyone else out there, but you can control yourself.
Correct.
So that's where we're going. So, as regards of training, do you self-coach now, or do you have a coach?
No, I self-coach. Gone are the days where the coach says, right, be at 9 o'clock and let's do it. That worked great, but now with my schedule, that won't work. I will be letting people down all the time. So it works around my schedule. Sometimes I have to train at 7 a.m. Sometimes I have to train at 7 p.m. Sometimes I've got to train at lunchtime. I've got to squeeze in a session in between clients and get it done. So, I know enough. Obviously, it's always better to have somebody else watching you and telling you, mate, you're slacking, or you're doing too much. It's very, very important to have that balance, because sometimes, because you're coaching yourself, you feel, I don't want to slack, so I'm going to go extra, even though you're tired. So you got to kind of be asking yourself questions all the time. Should I be doing this? If I had a coach, or if I was coaching somebody, what would I tell him to do? So it's a constant balancing act in your mind, but it's what's got to be done, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. So do you have things like your stretch, your mobility? Do you have massages, regular stuff like that? Yeah,
definitely. I get therapy when I can, usually once a week. Not always massage. Sometimes it's just a bit of active release therapy, just get the body moving and focus on certain points. For me, because back has been my, historically my issue, just make sure my hip flexors are loose and my psoas, and my glutes, make sure the mobility is there. And I see a therapist usually once a week, when I can. Sometimes I might have a 2-month block where I haven't done it, and then you see it in my performances, but generally when I'm running at my best, that's what I do. I make sure I'm loose, and I'm a big believer in hurdle mobility. I do that like religiously, just to keep my body supple, hips moving and activated.
Also, you just turned into the M45 category, which is unfortunate with what's going on with COVID-19. So you're not having to go any major championships. So have you got any future goals you'd like to do?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you've always got to keep setting goals. For me, I work very well when I have a clear target. And I recommend that to anybody. Have a good goal. You have your short-term goals and your long-term goals. I want to keep winning medals. I mean, from from you taste winning a gold medal, you want nothing less, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't want to sound cocky to say, right, I'm going for that championship. I'm looking for gold. You know, when you win gold once, you always want to win gold or more. But obviously, winning a medal is what I want to do in every championship. So I want to get to a championship and rack up some more medals, hopefully. And I haven't got a record yet, an individual record. That would be great. You know, but they're records for a reason. They're records because they're hard to achieve.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the point. I would like to get one. If I do, I don't train and say, right, I'm training for a record, but it would be nice to put my name down on the books and say, right, that was TJ's one. You know?
Yeah, no, they're always nice. Medals are there, and the records are there. And as you quite rightly said, that they are hard targets set by some great athletes in past eras. But that's what drives each master, whatever level you're at. You should be driving for the next, whether it's to make a final, to break a record, whatever it is, it drives you on the track.
Exactly.
That's what you need, isn't it? That driving force, and as you quite pointed out, it's goals, but realistic goals. Because as you said before, you had a goal, but it wasn't achievable to get the Olympic Games run 10-1. But if it's achievable to get a gold medal in the Masters and it's there, then you know, set yourself realistic goals.
You have to believe it, and for me, I say there's believing and there's really believing. Right?
Yeah.
You have to really believe, just as much as you believe that if you've got a plate of food in front of you and you dig your spoon in it and you put it in your mouth, it will enter your mouth. You have full confidence that you can do something. When you really believe, you know, that's the difference. So you set a target that is realistic, even if it's just a small target. When you reach it, you can push it again, and eventually you will get to the ultimate target, isn't it? So
you're just moving the goalposts
exactly
all the time, just to progress and progress and progress. It's another interesting fact. The last time you had a great run in my eyes, there's so many great runs, but the other one was 2019 back in Toronto. Francis Abakwelu, Olympic silver medalist. European record holder, 9.86 he's ran.
That's right.
A 6.5, I think he won the World Indoors or European Indoors. What was it like racing someone like that caliber?
It was amazing. He was an absolute honour. He was a gentleman, and he was a really, really good guy to catch up with and talk to, even prior to the championships. I tried not to be overawed or starstruck in any way, because I have to race against this guy, and I needed to win, right? The whole essence of racing is to see who gets to the line first, and I wanted to win. But I respected him, and you know, you just got to respect his caliber. And he conducted himself with such professionalism, and you can see his experience. You can see his experience completely. You know, really subtle. I don't want to say mind games, no, but he showed his experience from his whole demeanor, and you had to just respect him. And you don't want to respect somebody too much when you're about to compete against them, right? But he made you do that by just the way he behaved. You know, I remember he came into the after my semi-final, right, in the 60 meters. I remember I ran 7:12 comfortably, right? And he was, as I crossed the line, he was stood right there, and he said, "Impressive, impressive." I was like, "Oh my God, this guy's patronizing me." I thought, well, Abakwelu thinks I'm impressive, then great. Then in the call room, he came, we were all there. I remember it was me, Dominic, Bradley, you know, Lionel, a few of the other guys. You know, you can imagine how heightened the environment was, right? And he walks in, he goes, "Why is everybody looking so nervous? Come on, it's just a bit of fun. Just relax, everybody. Come on, nobody died." I was like, oh my God. And then we get to the starting line, and he said, "On your marks," and he was like, "Rah!" Tricked us, mate. He tricked us.
Well, to have someone of that caliber running in the Masters, to me, was just fantastic, because it did raise the profile. And funny, you touched on Dominic Bradley there, and to be honest, I think he had going into the final, had a better time than your good self in the final. So to me, it was all about that final, who to hold the nerves. And to be honest with you, I think you come out. Do you get a bronze?
Yep, got the bronze.
It was Francis Abakwelu, Martinez, was it? your good self, and then Dominic, and it was like a battle, I think, going on there. Mind games going on between you and Dominic, but it was a great race.
Yeah.
I know these little rivalry through the M40s, which is always brilliant. Because we all like to have our rivalries, but there you raised the game because you didn't go into that final probably not in medal contention, and again you pulled it out the bag at the final. Yeah,
that's key. Again, it's just being able to get into that zone and just forgetting about. I mean, I was a bit pissed. Excuse my French. I was a bit annoyed in the semi-final, not winning that. But you know, Dominic had a great race, and I was like, "Damn, come on, mate, TJ, come on, you can't be looking to win gold, and you can't even win your semi-final." Do you know what I mean? So I got into the final, and I was like, right, focus, get out, and relax, right? So that's the main aim. Go on the beer the bang, relax, and you can do it. I visualized myself winning. I was 100% sure I was going to win, right? And if you look at the video, I was actually in front of Obikwelu and at least neck and neck, if not slightly in front of Lionel. But then I tried too hard. I was like, right? So yeah, I mean, I got a medal, and I was very, very happy because it was close. I think I got 701. So I was still pretty happy I got a medal there because I mean, first and second was 6.9, 6.90, and 6.94. You know, both faster than my PB. So I'd have had to PB to get a higher medal than I did. So it wasn't a bad performance for me.
No, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, you would have had to run a PB, and again, you were 5 years older than you were before.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? When you look at that performance, and again, you were near the top end of your age group again.
Yeah.
You did keep pulling out near the end of your age group, don't you?
Yeah.
So,
I was hoping to get
again, you were the underdog probably in that final.
Yeah.
On that championship that day, not saying underdog going into the championships, but that day your performances weren't as good as some of the other athletes against Dominic. So it was just like, but you pulled out the final.
On lane 2, Ashley McMahon from Australia. On lane 3, TJ Ossai from Great Britain. On lane 4, Lion Martinez from Sweden. On lane 6, Dominic Bradley from Great Britain. On lane 6, Francis Obikwelu from Portugal.
From Portugal, Francis Obikwelu.
Lane 7, Mensa Elio from Great Britain. And lane 8, Rashid Chouhal from Malta. Rekord świata należy do Kima Collinsa, 6,56, niestety nieobecny tu w Toruniu, aczkolwiek zapraszany przez nas do udziału w starciu, co by nie mówić, gigantów, tak jak powiedzieliśmy, Francis Obikwelu, ale jest 7,08. Miejmy nadzieję, że teraz obejdzie się bez fal startu. No i spójrzmy teraz. Szwed czy Portugalczyk? Chyba Obikwelu, tak. 6,91 na tę chwilę.
It's Francis Obikwelu. Was it like he put that extra pressure on you? I always say learning is sometimes getting beat.
Yeah.
Because you have to deal with the pressure, and about what you just said, you're tensed up and you're going, but if you were in front, you wouldn't have tensed up.
This is it.
Further down the line, you wouldn't have tensed, you would have been more relaxed, across the line.
Right.
But
that's right.
We all do it, we all tense up when we're behind, or you know, you have a great start, you've put so much in and then thinking, oh, I've got nowhere to go.
This is it.
So, you know what I mean?
Look, it's great. I mean, to come third behind, you know, a legend, and Lionel, come on, he's a world champion already. So
yeah,
I enjoyed it. And Dominic as well. I'm in top 4. Dominic, you know, I beat him in the final, but he ran 6'9" in the semi. So it was a high level championship final there.
In your Masters, have you had any other Masters that you look up to yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, all those that have come before me, definitely. I mean, look at people like Donald Brown and so on. You know, there's all these guys, you know, yourself. Do you know what I mean? Amazing. You know, I didn't know much about Masters, but as I got into it, you start looking at, you know, going and looking at the history books, and you start seeing people's performances, and you're like, wow, these guys run those times. I mean, yourself, 21s, you know, 21.6 and 10.7 did you run? You know?
Yeah, 10.7, 10.8, yeah.
So, you know, you got to respect people. I mean, as master athletes at the top of your game, like, we're elite in our own right, because the amount of training and the level of training you've got to do, juggling life, you know, works, family, you know, so many things is a lot more difficult, you know. So people don't give us credit for, you know, and not necessarily just those winning medals, those who are not even winning medals, those who aren't even making finals. They are working hard, and it's not easy. So I never look down on people who are not in that level yet, because I don't know what their work constraints are. You know, like for me, the last couple of years, work has been extremely good, but that now meant training was not as good. So I can see that, okay, so if I had to be on the desk from 9, I mean, luckily my job is in fitness and health, so I can be in a training vicinity and still get my session in. But if I had to be on the desk, I won't be able to train at all, unless maybe on a Sunday. So you don't know anyone's story. So I just give anyone who can step on the track and compete, you know, whether or not. And the great thing is that Masters, you don't have to qualify to make it to the championship. Anyone there, I give them top kudos, because you put yourself on the line, and well done, you know. So Masters is awesome.
Yeah. So it's been fantastic chatting to you.
Likewise, I enjoyed it.
And you know, I look forward to seeing you racing in the near future. I hope we're all back on track properly.
Yeah, like it's been fun. You know, it's just been great interacting and talking about things, and you know, bringing up his history, bringing up my previous events made me feel really good. And you know what I mean, I enjoy martial athletics. I think it's, you know, most people should take it up. If you're nearing your mid-30s, come do it, man. It's fun. You meet so many great people. So
you do, because it's opened a whole new world for me. You travel around the world. Obviously, you need the funds to do it, but there's so many great people out there. It really is. And I say, you've got different levels.
Definitely.
That's what makes it brilliant. It's like a big family out there.
Big family, definitely.
But with rivals, and that's what I like. It keeps us all on our toes. And do you know what's the best about it? Most of the top sprinters are all from the United Kingdom.
I know. It's amazing, isn't it? I want to say, Darren, you're doing an awesome job. I think you should be commended for what you're doing. This is brilliant for the Masters Grand Prix page. You know, keeping people in the loop. You know, everybody's always interested in what everyone else is doing, and I think this is very engaging. And I watch all the other videos when they come up, and everyone is interested. What is that one doing for training? What is his mindset like? You see other master athletes, but sometimes you don't get the chance to have a proper conversation with them, because you're always at an event competing. So I think this is really, really good just to get a taste of someone's personality. And I think you're doing a top job. And, you know, I think it's really important that you carry it on. It's very, very, very good. And I really enjoyed this one.